My dear child, life has handed you burdens you never anticipated carrying. The seasons that have arrived uninvited have left you questioning everything you once held as certain. Those familiar anchors, the relationships, the dreams, the simple assurances that tomorrow would make sense, they seem to dissolve like morning mist, leaving you grasping at emptiness. You wake each morning carrying the accumulated weight of disappointments, prayers that seem to echo back unanswered, relationships that fractured when you needed them most, losses that came without warning, stealing pieces of your heart you're not sure you'll ever recover. The slow, grinding ache of waiting for change that never seems to come has worn grooves into your soul. And some days you wonder if anyone sees your struggle. In these moments of profound exhaustion, when the world feels impossibly heavy and your strength has been stretched beyond recognition, you begin to question your place in the grand design. You watch others receive what seems like endless streams of blessing while you remain in your valley, wondering if grace has somehow forgotten your address. The stories of miracles feel like distant fairy tales meant for other people, other lives, other hearts that haven't been broken quite as thoroughly as yours. But listen carefully now, because in this exact place, this raw, exposed space where pretending no longer serves you, something sacred is stirring. I am not approaching to wave a magic wand and instantly repair every fractured piece of your existence. Instead, I come to remind you of truths that run deeper than your current pain, foundations that remain solid even when everything above ground seems to be shifting. The sacred nature of struggle. Your present circumstances are not evidence of abandonment. They are not proof that you have been overlooked or that your prayers have fallen on deaf ears. What you're experiencing right now is not the conclusion of your story. It's the middle chapters, the place where character is forged and where the most profound transformations take root. You have not been forgotten, even in your loneliest moments when the silence feels deafening and the darkness seems permanent. You are not walking alone. What feels like an ending is actually a beginning, the early stages of a narrative that is already saturated with purpose and meaning, even when you can't yet see the threads that will weave it all together. Blessings are gathering in places you haven't thought to look. They don't always announce themselves with fanfare or arrive wrapped in the bright paper of obvious joy. Sometimes they come disguised as the strength that allows you to face another day when everything in you wants to surrender. They appear as the unexpected moment of peace that settles over you in the midst of chaos, the laughter that bubbles up despite your sorrow, or the gentle hand that reaches toward you when you thought no one noticed your pain. The questions that keep you awake at night, the wondering why certain prayers seem to disappear into silence, the confusion about why others seem to move through life with ease while you struggle for every step. These are not signs of spiritual failure. They are evidence of a heart that hungers for meaning, that refuses to accept shallow answers to deep longings. The mystery of divine timing. What if the changes you've been praying for have already begun? Not in the external circumstances you can measure and catalog, but in the invisible regions of your spirit. What if the miracle you've been seeking is already taking place in the gradual reshaping of your heart, in the way your soul is learning to endure not just the weight of suffering, but the even greater challenge of continuing to hope? Every tear you've shed in solitude has been witnessed. Every silent cry that erupted from the depths of your being has echoed in the chambers of divine love. I am not distant, observing your pain from some removed celestial throne. I am close, closer than your own breath, working within the very fabric of your struggle to weave something beautiful from what seems broken beyond repair. Throughout all of history, countless others have stood where you stand now, at the edge of their endurance, convinced they were alone in their anguish. Yet each one discovered that the moment of surrender, not defeat, but the releasing of their need to control outcomes, became the doorway to discoveries they could never have imagined. They found strength they didn't know they possessed, doors they hadn't noticed before, and a hope that didn't depend on what they could see, but on what they chose to believe about the character of love itself. You've been told to be strong, to persist, to push through every obstacle with gritted teeth and unwavering determination. While resilience is valuable, I want you to understand something equally important. It's acceptable to rest. It's human to weep. It's completely normal to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers or know what your next step should be. This is precisely where I meet you most intimately, not in your moments of polished perfection, but in your honest surrender. Not when you have everything figured out, but when you lift your eyes seeking guidance beyond your own understanding. The nature of unexpected blessings. If you could perceive what I perceive, the intricate tapestry I'm weaving from the threads of your experience, the people I'm positioning in your path, the future I'm carefully preparing, you would sleep more peacefully. But I understand that trusting what remains unseen requires a particular kind of courage, especially when your past has been marked by disappointment. The blessing that's making its way toward you may not resemble what you've been anticipating. It might not arrive with thunder and lightning, demanding immediate attention. Instead, it could manifest as a quiet moment when something that has been wounded within you finally begins to heal. It might come through an unexpected conversation, a letter that arrives at precisely the right moment, an opportunity that opens when you thought all doors were sealed, or simply the lifting of that invisible burden you've carried for far too long. My timing operates according to different principles than human urgency. What appears to be delay from your perspective is often divine preparation from mine. I am never late, never unprepared, never caught off guard by the circumstances of your life. Every season of waiting serves a purpose, even when that purpose remains hidden from your view. This isn't about pretending that everything is fine when it clearly isn't. This is about learning that even when everything is not fine, you remain held, chosen, and integral to something far greater than your current circumstances. You don't need to earn love through performance or prove your worth through achievement. You simply need to continue breathing, continue listening, and allow your soul to remember that I am still the source of the unexpected, the author of surprise endings and sudden reversals. The power of persistence. When each day feels overwhelming, remember this fundamental truth. You have already survived circumstances you once believed would destroy you. There is still so much ahead, so much light waiting to break through, so much joy preparing to surprise you, so many quiet moments of grace positioning themselves to find you exactly when you need them most. You will experience laughter again. Peace will return to your heart, not because your life will become perfect, but because you will begin to recognize the fingerprints of mercy in places you never thought to look before. You are not disqualified from experiencing miracles. You are not too damaged, too far gone, or too broken to receive good things. I specialize in working with broken pieces. I create beauty from ashes, lift those who have been brought low, and restore those who are weary beyond words. This pattern will repeat itself in your life because it's who I am, not who I sometimes choose to be when the mood strikes me, but the unchanging core of my character. There is something sacred about brokenness when it's brought into divine presence. I don't ask you to pretend everything is wonderful or to maintain a facade of having it all together. I invite you to be completely honest with me, to bring your questions, your exhaustion, your hidden disappointments. I can carry the full weight of your authentic experience. I always have. There is no shame in acknowledging fatigue, no weakness in wondering why circumstances haven't shifted. Even the strongest souls grow weary. Even the most faithful hearts need regular reminders of hope. The continuation of your story. Here is your reminder. I have not stopped writing your story. You were not forgotten in that hospital room where fear seemed to swallow you whole. You were not invisible when the job you counted on was taken from you, or when the betrayal shattered your ability to trust. You didn't imagine that quiet voice within you insisting that something good was still possible. That small flame that refuses to be extinguished despite all the winds that have tried to blow it out. That's me working within you. I am not only present in the dramatic moments of parting seas and moving mountains. I sit with you in waiting rooms, in lonely apartments, in the corners where your fears gather to whisper lies about your future. I don't require a perfect stage to perform something miraculous. I move in the unseen dimensions, in the quiet places, in the slow transformation that happens when you're not even paying attention. You long for rescue, and I understand that desire completely. You ask me to repair what's broken, to restore what was lost, to answer what has been hanging in silence. I hear you. I always hear you. But my love operates at levels deeper than single solutions or quick fixes. I'm not merely trying to remove your pain. I'm working to redeem it, to take what was meant to harm you and transform it into something that strengthens, restores, and awakens parts of you that this world cannot touch. Divine delays and detours. What you interpret as delays are often elements of my design. What appears to be detours from your perspective are sometimes divine redirections toward something better than you originally imagined. You were never meant to walk a straight, predictable path where every outcome could be calculated in advance. You were designed to follow me step by step, breath by breath, discovering me in places others would never think to search. Yes, I allow the unexpected to enter your life, but I also fill the unexpected with purpose. This isn't about blind optimism that ignores reality. This is about spiritual truth that sees beyond immediate circumstances. Even now, even here in this difficult place, you're surrounded by grace. I've observed you holding on with trembling hands when letting go would have been easier. I've watched you choose kindness when your own heart felt empty. I've noticed the tears you've wiped away in solitude, the prayers you've whispered in the darkness when no one else was listening. Every single one of these moments matters to me. Not one has been wasted or forgotten. You believe no one understands the specific weight you're carrying, but I do. I was present when that burden was first placed on your shoulders. I've walked beside you through every private breakdown, every forced smile, every day you showed up when you wanted to disappear instead. That demonstrates strength, my child. That is faith in action, even when it doesn't feel heroic. I honor that kind of faith. The hidden nature of blessings. Blessings rarely conform to our expectations. Sometimes they do appear as open doors, new opportunities, and answered prayers. But just as often, they manifest as closed doors that protected you from something you couldn't see coming. Sometimes the blessing is the person you became while you waited, the courage you discovered when everything felt chaotic, the compassion that bloomed in your heart because you finally understood what it means to desperately need grace. I work in layers, in mystery, but always in love. Miracles surround you constantly, but your eyes have been trained to look for the dramatic and unmistakable. Let me show you what miracles really look like in everyday life. A miracle is the way your heart continues to hope even when it's been wounded. A miracle is how your lungs keep drawing breath even when your soul feels exhausted. A miracle is how someone you didn't expect says exactly what you needed to hear at precisely the right moment. It's how peace appears out of nowhere, how joy returns after long seasons of sorrow. These aren't coincidences. They are traces of divine love, gentle reminders that I remain near, good, and actively working all things together for your ultimate benefit. You're not weak because you need encouragement. You're human, and I understand how fragile that humanity can feel at times. But don't mistake fragile for broken beyond repair. I created you. I understand your limits, your fears, your deepest longings, and I know exactly how to lead you gently back to fullness of life. That's what this moment represents. A gentle leading. A reminder that you are still seen, still loved, still chosen for more than you can currently imagine. Small gifts and sacred signs. Today, don't rush past the small gifts that present themselves. Notice them with intention. The warmth in your hands, the sunlight streaming through your window, the memory that brought an unexpected smile, the breath filling your body. These are not insignificant details. They are signs, divine signatures reminding you that even here, especially here, you are surrounded by love. Let that truth sink deeply into your consciousness. Because the moment you realize, I am still with you, that I am still actively working in your life, is the moment hope finds you again. And when hope finds you, blessings begin to unfold, not always with fanfare, but always with faithfulness. I am not finished with your story, not done with this chapter, not done with you. You've stared at your reflection and asked questions that no one else can hear. Why am I still here? What am I supposed to do with all this pain? Will anything ever improve? I've heard every one of those questions, every single one. And I have not turned away from you, not even once. When others failed to notice your silent struggles, I saw them all. When you wanted to disappear, I drew closer. You may not have felt my presence, but I was holding you even then, especially then. The formation of hidden blessings. What if I told you that even now, blessings are forming beneath the surface of your awareness? That while you've been focused on merely surviving, I've been planting seeds in the soil of your experience. Every struggle, every season of confusion, every tear has been watering something sacred within your soul. You see the brokenness, but I see the becoming. I understand what is being born in you through this process of pain and endurance. You want the pain to end, and I understand that desire completely. But even more than an ending, I want you to discover what can only be found in this place. A strength that doesn't originate from your own resources. A peace that doesn't depend on having all the answers, but flows from my presence. You often think blessings must look a certain way, big, obvious, and immediate, but my blessings are frequently quiet, steady, and deeply personal. They're not always about changing your external situation. Sometimes they're about transforming your vision, teaching you to see what truly matters, inviting you to discover treasure in unexpected places. The very place you're standing now, this place of discomfort, waiting, or sorrow, may become the sacred ground where your heart awakens to what can no longer be ignored. Honesty and divine acceptance. I'm not threatened by your doubts. I'm not offended by your questions. I would rather have you approach me with complete honesty than remain silent in shame. Come as you are, uncertain, wounded, hopeful, afraid. Bring the full weight of your heart. I can carry it all. I want to carry it all. In return, I will give you something this world cannot provide: perspective that transcends circumstances, peace that doesn't depend on explanations, and the ability to see blessings where others see only ashes. You may think you've missed your opportunity, that you're too far behind others, too damaged, too late to experience good things again. Let me tell you something you desperately need to hear. I don't operate according to human timelines. I redeem time itself. I restore what was lost. I reopen doors that were slammed shut. I rebuild what others declared beyond repair. You are not too late. You are arriving at exactly the right time, my time. Rekindling wonder. Do you remember when you were younger? When your heart dreamed more freely? When joy came easily and life felt full of possibility? I remember those moments too. I placed that sense of wonder in you. And though the world may have dimmed it, though pain may have made it harder to dream, I have not allowed it to die completely. I am reigniting that spark now, not with empty promises that mean nothing, but with holy assurance backed by my unchanging character. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified from good things. You are being reshaped, refined, and prepared for a life that will reflect the deep beauty born from endurance. Blessings come to those who remain open, who refuse to let bitterness win, who dare to hope again, even when external circumstances haven't changed. You may not see the fruit yet, but the roots are growing strong beneath the surface. Your hope is not foolish. Your faith is not wasted. I see every quiet act of trust, the way you get out of bed when staying down would be easier, the way you continue showing up for people when your own heart feels empty, the way you whisper, "Help me," into the darkness. These moments matter more than you understand. They are laying the foundation for blessings that will not just visit you temporarily, but establish themselves as permanent residents in your life. The purpose in pain. I'm not asking you to pretend things are easy when they're not. I'm asking you to believe they're not meaningless. Nothing you've experienced has been wasted. I understand how to weave even your most difficult chapters into something beautiful. Not despite the pain, but through it, because of what it produced in you. When you look back eventually, you will not see only the storm. You will see how I carried you through it. You will remember the exact moment peace appeared when it shouldn't have been possible. The smile that returned out of nowhere after months of sorrow. The person who showed up unexpectedly. The decision you almost didn't make, but did, and it changed everything. These are the fingerprints of blessings you didn't see coming, but I was orchestrating them all along. The coming miracle. And what about the miracle you've been waiting for? Yes, it's still approaching. It may not look exactly how you pictured it. It may not arrive according to your timeline, but it will come, because I am not finished working in your life. My miracles are not limited to certain people or perfect conditions. They are available to hearts willing to believe, even in darkness, even now. So let this process accomplish its work in you. Let hope rise again, slowly, steadily, as you trust that something good is growing even when you can't see it yet. Don't try to rush the miracle. Don't attempt to force the blessing. Just stay close to me. Watch, wait, and understand that the best things often arrive when you least expect them, in ways you never could have orchestrated yourself. Sacred ground. There is something sacred about the moments when everything feels overwhelming. Not because I desire your suffering, but because it's precisely in those moments that your heart opens to me in a deeper way than ever before. When your strength reaches its end, that's where mine begins to carry you. You may not always recognize it happening. It may not feel like light pouring through clouds. Sometimes it feels more like barely hanging on, like choosing to breathe again, even when it hurts. And that, beloved, is holy ground. Not because of the pain itself, but because of what you choose to do in the pain. You may wonder why I allow pain at all, why life feels unfair, why others seem to have easier paths, why things fall apart even when you've prayed so earnestly. I see those questions rising in you. They don't offend me. In fact, they prove your hunger for meaning, your desire for justice, your longing for truth. I promise you, none of that longing is in vain. But the answers you seek don't always come in the form of explanations. They come as invitations. Invitations to walk with me through the mystery, rather than demanding to understand it all before you take another step. Understanding through experience. I know how it feels to be misunderstood, overlooked, underestimated. You have experienced rejection from people who were supposed to care, from opportunities that seemed perfect, from dreams you invested your whole heart in pursuing. But what if I told you that nothing truly good is ever lost when it's placed in my hands? What if I told you that what appeared to be rejection was sometimes protection? That what you interpreted as a closed door was actually redirection towards something better than you had imagined possible? I am not the author of chaos, but I am the master of redemption. I don't waste detours. I fill them with meaning and purpose. Every no that confused you, every ending that broke your heart, I can use all of it. Not just for comfort, but for complete transformation. I am not trying to return you to who you were before the storm hit your life. I am making you new, creating something that never existed before. A version of you that has been refined by fire, strengthened by struggle, and made beautiful by endurance. Living faith. Faith and trust aren't just abstract concepts. They are lived, one small step at a time. They are practiced in ordinary moments. In the decision to keep going when you want to quit. In the courage to forgive again when you've been hurt. In the willingness to believe that something better could still be ahead, even when evidence suggests otherwise. It's not always a loud declaration of confidence. Sometimes it's a quiet yes, whispered in your heart, when everything else is saying no. That's where miracles begin, not in grand gestures, but in small acts of trust. Do you understand how much power there is in still believing after what you've been through? That's not weakness or naivety. That's strength rooted in grace. That's you reflecting divine image more than you realize. Because even though life has wounded you, you're still open to healing. Even though people have failed you, you're still choosing to love. Even though you've cried alone, you're still reaching out for connection. That is the kind of faith I treasure. Not polished, but persistent. Not perfect, but honest. Unexpected shapes of blessing. Blessings often arrive in unexpected shapes. They show up when you're not actively looking for them. A message that speaks directly to what you needed to hear. A shift in your perspective that changes everything. A quiet peace that settles over your heart like a warm embrace. These moments are not random occurrences. They are not luck or coincidence. They are expressions of love finding you in the middle of the storm. You've felt like giving up more times than you've admitted to anyone, but you didn't surrender, and that matters enormously. Every time you chose to hope again, even for a brief moment, you partnered with divine purposes in ways you couldn't see. Heaven noticed those choices. Your quiet victories register in spiritual realms. You are not invisible in your struggle. You are not forgotten in your fight. Dreams remembered. And those dreams you think are too broken to ever live again? I haven't forgotten them. I remember the dreams you whispered late at night when you thought no one was listening. I remember the joy that lit up your face when you dared to imagine something beautiful for your life. I remember, and I still care about those dreams. Some may return in new forms, some may be replaced by something even greater, but none of them are wasted. Every one of them has led you closer to your true self, the person I designed you to be. You are still becoming. You are not finished. Your best days are not behind you. They are unfolding, even now. You may not feel it, but I am preparing you for blessings your heart will recognize. Opening your hands. So open your hands again. Release the tight grip on what you thought it had to be. Let go of the timelines you constructed. Trust that what's meant for you is not trapped in the past. It's ahead, waiting to meet you as you move forward in faith. I know that's not always easy. I know your heart has been disappointed before, but I'm not like the others who let you down. I keep my promises. I finish what I start. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let me carry what you cannot bear. Let me fill your empty spaces. Let me show you that even here, even now, you are surrounded by grace that never runs out. Keep breathing. Keep walking. Keep believing. You're closer than you think to something beautiful, something that will make sense of this journey in ways you cannot yet imagine. The quiet revolution within. While you've been focused on external changes, the circumstances you want shifted, the relationships you hope to see restored, the opportunities you're waiting to materialize. Something profound has been happening within you, a quiet revolution of the spirit that transforms how you see, how you love, how you endure. You've developed a capacity for compassion that can only come from having your own heart broken open. You understand suffering in ways that allow you to sit with others in their pain, without rushing to fix or minimize their experience. This isn't something you could have learned from books or sermons. It's wisdom written in the language of tears, carved into your soul through actual experience. The patience you've cultivated while waiting for answers has become a strength that others notice even when you don't. They see something settled in you, a rootedness that doesn't depend on favorable circumstances. This isn't resignation or defeat. It's the deep peace that comes from learning to trust a love that operates beyond human timelines. Your ability to hope after repeated disappointments demonstrates a kind of courage that the world desperately needs to witness. Every time you choose to believe again after being let down, you're performing a small miracle of faith that ripples out in ways you may never know. Someone observes your persistence and finds strength for their own journey. Someone notices how you keep showing up and decides not to give up on their own dreams. The ripple effect of transformed hearts. The changes occurring within you are not meant to stop with your personal healing. They're designed to overflow into the lives of others who are walking similar paths of struggle and hope. Your pain is being transformed into a bridge of understanding that will connect you to hearts that need exactly what you have to offer. When you speak from the place of having been in the valley, people listen differently. When you offer hope from the perspective of someone who has genuinely wrestled with despair, your words carry a weight and authenticity that cannot be manufactured. You're not speaking theoretical comfort, you're sharing tested truth. The gentleness you've developed through being handled roughly by life becomes a healing presence for those who have been similarly wounded. You know how to approach broken places carefully because you understand how much damage can be done by well-meaning but careless words. You know the difference between helpful encouragement and empty platitudes because you've been on the receiving end of both. This is part of the purpose woven into your pain, not that the pain itself was good, but that it has equipped you to carry light into dark places where others need exactly the kind of hope you've learned to hold on to with trembling hands. The deeper meaning of restoration. When I speak of restoration in your life, I'm not simply talking about returning things to how they were before the difficulty began. I'm speaking of something far more profound. The creation of something new that incorporates all you've learned, all you've endured, all the ways you've grown. Your restored joy will be different from your original innocence. It will be joy seasoned with wisdom, sweetened by the knowledge of how precious it is, because you know what it's like to live without it. Your renewed relationships will be deeper, because you now understand the value of people who stay present during difficult seasons. Your resurrected dreams may take different forms than you originally imagined, but they will be more authentic to who you've become through this refining process. They will be dreams that can withstand storms because they've been rooted in soil that has been enriched by tears and struggle. This is why I don't simply remove all difficulty from your path. I could do that, but it would rob you of the profound beauty that comes from overcoming, from learning to trust in the darkness, from discovering strength you never knew you possessed. The version of you that emerges from this season will be more beautiful, more resilient, more authentically yourself than ever before. The language of divine love. I speak to you in a language that often differs from human communication. While the world speaks primarily through words, I frequently communicate through the orchestration of circumstances, the timing of encounters, the opening and closing of opportunities. Learning to recognize this language is part of your spiritual education. Sometimes I speak through the kindness of strangers who appear at exactly the right moment. Sometimes my voice comes through the pages of a book that someone recommended, through lyrics of a song that plays when you most need to hear its message, through the wisdom of a friend who calls just when you're wrestling with a particular question. I speak through the natural world, the sunrise that greets you after a sleepless night, the unexpected rainbow after a storm, the bird that builds its nest outside your window as a reminder that life continues to create beauty, even in uncertain seasons. These are not coincidences, but carefully orchestrated reminders of my presence and care. Sometimes I speak through the doors that close, protecting you from paths that would have led to greater pain, even when you can't see the danger they would have presented. Sometimes my communication comes through delays that create space for healing, growth, or the alignment of circumstances that will serve you better in the long run. Learning to recognize these various forms of divine communication transforms how you experience daily life. Instead of feeling abandoned during periods of silence, you begin to see the ways love is actively working in less obvious but equally powerful ways. The season of preparation. What you've experienced as waiting has actually been intensive preparation for what's coming next in your life. Like soil being prepared for planting, your heart and mind have been cultivated through the processes of struggle and endurance. The difficulties you've faced have broken up hardened places within you, creating space for new growth. Your capacity for receiving good things has been expanded through learning to find hope in small moments and grace in unexpected places. If the fullness of blessing had come before this preparation, you might not have been able to appreciate its depth or sustain its weight. But now you've developed the spiritual muscles needed to steward what's being entrusted to you. The empathy you've gained through suffering will help you handle success with humility. The perseverance you've developed through waiting will enable you to maintain what you receive rather than losing it through impatience or poor choices. The faith you've cultivated in darkness will keep you grounded when light finally breaks through. This season of preparation has not been punishment or abandonment. It has been intensive training for the life you're about to step into. Every challenge has built strength you'll need. Every disappointment has taught discernment you'll use. Every moment of having to trust, without seeing, has developed the kind of faith that will carry you through whatever comes next. The community of fellow travelers. You are not the only one walking this path of struggle and hope. Throughout the world, countless others are carrying similar burdens, asking similar questions, and learning to trust in the midst of uncertainty. You are part of a vast, mostly invisible community of people. This community exists across time as well as space. Throughout history, people have faced seasons of testing that seemed endless, circumstances that appeared hopeless, and delays that felt like denials. Yet many of them discovered that their darkest seasons preceded their greatest breakthroughs. Their longest waits prepared them for their most significant opportunities. You can draw strength from knowing that you're not uniquely cursed or particularly unlucky. You're having a human experience that, while deeply personal and specific to your circumstances, connects you to the broader story of how people learn to trust, to endure, and to find meaning in the midst of mystery. Some of your fellow travelers are ahead of you on the journey, able to offer wisdom and encouragement from their vantage point of having survived similar struggles. Others are behind you, and your willingness to keep going provides them with hope that they too can make it through their current difficulties. This invisible network of support is part of how love operates in the world. Through people who've learned to hope, helping others learn to hope. Through those who've found strength, sharing it with those who are still searching for it. The transformation of perspective. One of the most significant miracles that has been taking place in your life is the gradual transformation of your perspective. Where you once saw only problems, you're beginning to notice possibilities. Where you once focused solely on what was lacking, you're starting to recognize what remains. This shift in vision is not about denying reality or pretending difficulties don't exist. It's about developing the ability to see more of the picture than just the painful parts. It's learning to hold both struggle and beauty, both loss and love, both uncertainty and hope in the same frame of awareness. You're discovering that joy and sorrow can coexist, that you can grieve losses while still being grateful for what remains. You're learning that strength and vulnerability are not opposites, but partners. That admitting your needs doesn't diminish your power, but actually increases your capacity to receive help. This transformed perspective will serve you well in whatever comes next. It will enable you to appreciate blessings more fully because you know what it's like to live without them. It will help you navigate future challenges with greater wisdom because you've learned that difficult seasons are temporary and that you're stronger than you initially believed. More importantly, this perspective will enable you to serve others more effectively because you've learned to see beyond surface appearances to the deeper realities of human experience. You'll be able to offer hope to those who are struggling because you'll remember what it felt like to need that hope yourself. The eternal nature of love. Throughout all of this, the pain, the waiting, the questioning, the slow transformation, one thing has remained constant. You are loved. With an unchanging, unshakable love that is not dependent on your performance, your circumstances, or your understanding. This love was present when you couldn't feel it. It was working when you couldn't see it. It was holding you when you felt most alone. It has never wavered, never diminished, never been conditional on your ability to figure everything out or handle everything perfectly. Understanding this love is the foundation for everything else. When you truly grasp that you are loved simply because you exist, not because of what you do or don't do, it changes how you move through the world. It gives you a security that external circumstances cannot shake, a worth that failure cannot diminish, a hope that disappointment cannot destroy. This love is what has been carrying you through your difficult seasons. It's what gives meaning to your struggles and purpose to your pain. It's what ensures that your story will ultimately be one of redemption and restoration, regardless of how dark the current chapter might seem. The dawning of new seasons. Something is shifting in the spiritual atmosphere around your life. The long winter is beginning to give way to spring, though the changes may be subtle at first. Like the barely perceptible lengthening of days at the end of December, the movement toward breakthrough is beginning to accelerate. You may notice small signs, moments of unexpected peace, conversations that encourage your heart, opportunities that weren't available before, a gradual lifting of the heaviness that has been your companion for so long. These are not accidents or wishful thinking. They are early indicators of the change that has been building beneath the surface. The breakthrough, when it comes, may not look exactly like what you've been envisioning. It may be quieter than you expected, more gradual than you hoped, more internal than external. But it will be real, and it will be substantial, and it will mark the beginning of a new chapter in your story. Don't discount small improvements or dismiss incremental progress. These are often how the most significant transformations begin, not with dramatic reversals, but with steady movement in a new direction. The blessing you've been waiting for may unfold slowly, like a flower opening petal by petal, rather than arriving all at once like a sudden storm. The art of receiving. Part of your preparation has involved learning how to receive well. Many people struggle with this skill, particularly those who have been hurt or disappointed in the past. Learning to open your hands and heart to receive good things without fear, suspicion, or the need to earn them is an art form that requires practice. Your difficult seasons have taught you the value of help, the necessity of grace, the beauty of undeserved kindness. You've learned that independence, while valuable, is not the highest virtue, that there is profound strength in acknowledging your needs and allowing others to meet them. This capacity for receiving will serve you well as blessings begin to manifest in your life. You'll be able to accept them with genuine gratitude rather than questioning whether you deserve them. You'll be able to enjoy them fully rather than waiting for the other shoe to drop. You'll be able to steward them wisely rather than clinging to them fearfully. More importantly, your ability to receive well will enable you to give well. Those who have learned to accept help gracefully are often the most generous in offering it to others. Those who have received mercy freely are the quickest to extend it. Those who have been blessed in their need are the most eager to bless others in theirs. The unfolding design. From your current vantage point, it may be difficult to see how all the pieces of your experience fit together into a coherent design. The losses, the delays, the disappointments, the small victories, the moments of grace. They may seem random, disconnected, without an overarching purpose. But there is a design, carefully crafted and lovingly orchestrated, that incorporates every element of your journey. Nothing has been wasted, nothing has been forgotten, nothing has occurred outside the framework of a love that knows how to weave even painful threads into a tapestry of beauty. As you move forward, pieces of this design will become clearer. You'll begin to see how certain delays protected you from harm, how specific disappointments redirected you toward better opportunities, how particular struggles developed character qualities you needed for what was coming next. The clarity won't come all at once, and you'll never see the complete picture while you're still living the story, but you'll see enough to build your confidence in the wisdom and goodness of the one who has been orchestrating events behind the scenes. You'll see enough to trust that what you can't yet understand is being handled with the same care and precision as what you can see. The legacy of endurance. Your journey through difficulty is creating a legacy that extends far beyond your own life. The choices you've made to keep hoping when hope seemed foolish, to keep loving when love brought pain, to keep believing when belief required courage. These choices echo through generations. Children observe how adults handle hardship and learn from what they see. Your willingness to persevere teaches them that difficult seasons are survivable, that pain doesn't have to have the final word, that human beings are capable of remarkable resilience when they draw on sources of strength beyond themselves. Friends and family members facing their own struggles draw encouragement from watching you navigate yours. They may not say anything directly, but they notice your determination, your refusal to give up, your ability to find reasons for gratitude, even in hard circumstances. Your example gives them permission to believe that they too can make it through whatever they're facing. Even strangers may be affected by the hope you carry. The cashier who serves you, the neighbor you wave to, the person you encounter in the grocery store parking lot. They may sense something different about you, a quality of peace or strength that stands out in a world full of anxiety and despair. Without knowing your story, they may be encouraged simply by being in the presence of someone who has learned to hope. This is part of the purpose woven into your pain, not just personal healing, but the creation of a legacy of hope that outlasts your own lifetime. The fullness of restoration. The restoration that is coming to your life will be comprehensive, touching every area that has been damaged or depleted. It will include not just the return of what was lost, but the addition of things you never imagined possible. It will be restoration with interest, healing that goes deeper than the original wound, blessing that exceeds what was taken away. Your relationships will be restored to greater health and intimacy than they had before the trials began. You'll have learned how to love more wisely, communicate more effectively, and appreciate more deeply the people who matter most to you. The shallow connections will fall away, making room for relationships of substance and authenticity. Your sense of purpose will be clarified and intensified through having been tested. You'll know with greater certainty what matters and what doesn't, what's worth fighting for and what's worth releasing. The vague sense of destiny you may have carried for years will crystallize into specific opportunities to make a meaningful difference in the world. Your spiritual life will be richer and more genuine because it will be based on tested truth rather than untested theory. You'll know from experience that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting in the darkness. Your relationship with the divine will be intimate and real because it has been forged in the furnace of actual need. Your emotional health will be more stable because you'll have learned to find security in things that cannot be shaken rather than in circumstances that can change without warning. You'll have developed internal resources that enable you to weather future storms with greater equanimity and wisdom. The celebration that's coming. There will come a day when you look back on this season and marvel at how far you've traveled, how much you've grown, how many seemingly impossible things you've survived. There will be moments of profound gratitude for the very experiences that once felt like they might destroy you, because you'll be able to see how they contributed to the person you became. This doesn't mean you'll be glad for the pain itself. Some things are genuinely tragic and should be grieved as such. But you'll be grateful for the strength that grew in you because of the pain, the compassion that was birthed through your suffering, the wisdom that emerged from your confusion. You'll celebrate not just the blessings that came, but the person you became while waiting for them. You'll honor not just the prayers that were answered, but the faith that persisted while they seemed to go unheard. You'll treasure not just the relationships that were restored, but the character that was developed while they were broken. This celebration will not be a one-time event, but an ongoing recognition of the ways grace has operated in your life. You'll develop eyes to see the miraculous in the ordinary, the sacred in the simple, the extraordinary in what others might dismiss as coincidence. The conclusion: standing on holy ground. You are standing on holy ground right now, in this very moment, in whatever circumstances currently surround you. The ground is holy not because it's comfortable or easy or free from struggle, but because it's the place where divine love is meeting human need, where eternal purposes are being worked out through temporal experiences, where the greatest story ever told is continuing to unfold. You are not a victim of your circumstances, but a participant in a grand narrative of redemption and restoration. You are not an accident or an afterthought, but a beloved child whose story matters deeply to the one who created the universe and who has never stopped caring about the details of your life. The blessing is coming. The miracle is already in motion. The breakthrough is building momentum beneath the surface of your awareness. And you, my precious child, are ready to receive it. Not because you've done everything perfectly, but because you've learned to hope imperfectly, to trust incompletely, to love vulnerably. That is enough. You are enough. This moment is enough. Keep breathing, keep walking, keep believing. Your story is far from over, and the chapters that are yet to be written promise to be more beautiful than anything you've yet experienced. The sun is rising. The winter is ending. The blessing is on its way. This is my promise to you. This is my love for you. This is my eternal, unshakable commitment to your complete and perfect flourishing. Nothing, absolutely nothing will be wasted. Everything will work together for good, and you will live to tell the story of how love found you in your darkest moment and led you home to joy. Rest in this truth. Let it settle into the deepest places of your heart. You are loved beyond measure, held beyond failure, blessed beyond your current ability to comprehend. The best is yet to come. Amen.